What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Arcani. Just me and my daughter Milani chilling. I'm just here to give you a quick 5 tips on how to shoot a music video. Number 1 is location. Now when shooting a music video, you basically want to have a good location. You want to make sure you can actually scout the location before you actually get there. When you do check out a location, it gives you a better insight on how much room you have to shoot. Say if you're planning effects or anything like that, you can kind of plot out what's going to go where. So you want to find a location that actually fits the theme of the song. You don't want to shoot a random video in a random location, because if the location is off from the actual song's vibe, it's just going to seem weird and out of place. Usually before I shoot any song, I listen to the song a couple of times to get a vision in my head to where I can see this video going down, or just kind of like what's the vibe. I'll drive around looking for a location to fit that vibe. Most of the time I do already know of a location that can somewhat fit the vibe, but there's nothing wrong with exploring. Number 2 is frames per second. Now I do have a video here to show you the difference in frames per second. With my Canon 80D, I either shoot at 60 frames per second or 24 frames per second. The difference with shooting with frames per second, saying hi? Hi. The difference with shooting in frames per second is basically the lower the frames per second, the more cinematic it feels. The higher it feels, it kind of gives you like that super smooth motion, which I do see like on talk shows and things like that, but not really for like a cinematic visual. Most movies are shot at 24 frames per second. Another thing that you can do is when shooting a music video, you can shoot the entire thing at 60 frames per second and then render it at 24 frames per second. That's always one thing to do, but there also are pros and cons when it does come to doing that as well. I shoot at 60 frames if I plan on slowing down a video a lot, and if I'm shooting a hectic music video, I shoot the entire thing at 60. But anything that's cinematic at all, I shoot at 24 frames per second, and I always output at 24 frames per second as well. Number 3 is an important one. Do not focus on equipment. I shoot with about 3 things. I shoot with my camera itself, my tripod, and also my Ronin. Now the Ronin is a stabilizer that I did save up for. It's kind of expensive, but when it comes to actual real stabilizers, it's looked at as on the lower end. You can always find things like Steadicams, or the Zoonin crane is also a great option. These things may assist you in shooting, but it does not guarantee that your video will come out perfect. At the end of the day, when it comes to shooting video, you need to learn that your creative side takes over. You can have the greatest equipment in the world, it does not guarantee that you'll have the greatest video in the world. So pretty much it comes down to editing and things like that. I've seen people shoot great music videos with things like iPhones and even lower grade Canons and DSLRs. You don't want to really focus on getting more equipment. Start off where you need it, and if you feel you need to progress, that's when you need to move up and upgrade. Number 4 is focus. A big part of shooting music videos is you always want to have your subject in focus, depending on what kind of visual you are going for. Typically, if you don't have a DSLR that can shoot autofocus while shooting video, say your subject is at point A and you're at point B. You want to pretty much make sure your subject stays in a certain area around point A, and you want to pick where you want to move at point B. Now you want to find a midpoint in point B, whether you're moving left and right or back and forth, that you can focus at, just so you can mostly stay around that middle point. If you're moving at the point where you're out of focus, most of your footage is going to have to get thrown away anyway. So you want to find that midpoint where you're moving in between and focus there, and then move in between during that entire performance shoot. Number 5 is the biggest one. Be creative. You want to have your own style when it comes to shooting videos. You don't want to watch everyone's video and try to copy the same things and try to do the same things that they're doing. Pretty much you're not working for yourself. If anyone's going to come to you, it's because of what you can create, not because of what you can copy. What I do when it's time to shoot a music video, I pretty much close my eyes and picture what do I see when hearing this song. It can be unreal, it can be the most craziest events in your head. You want to see what comes up in your head and how close you can get to making that when it does come to shooting the video. I listen to music all the time and I just have visuals in my head thinking about like, oh, I see this song and I see a plane landing in the middle of Africa and people jumping out of a plane and everyone just suddenly doing something crazy, something unreal. So then I'm like, what is the closest that I can get to actually putting this on video? At the end of the day, everyone's different, everyone has a different style. What may work for me may not work for you. That's why creativity is the biggest thing. That's pretty much all I have as of right now. I'm gonna come out with more how-tos and tips on shooting videos. If interested, like this video and subscribe. On this channel, I do post my content. And if it's not posted on my YouTube, you can always find it in a playlist as well. Thank you for watching. This is my little model right here. My little baby model. Can you say hi? Look. Can you say hi? Yeah, you said it.